Good afternoon, everyone, especially to our instructor, Ma'am Chavez. Good afternoon, ma'am. This afternoon, I will going to share with you a literature review on our assigned literature, which is the Pride and Prejudice. Now, Pride and Prejudice is a classic novel written by the English author Jane Austen and first published in 1813. It is a story about pride and prejudice, which later turns into love. And this novel explores the social and cultural backgrounds or the social and cultural conditions of the early 19th century in England, particularly issues concerning love, wealth, social status, um, family reputation, and personal judgment. Now, the story takes place in England during the early 19th century. And some of the important locations are the first is Longbourn, which is the home of the Bennet family, and second is the Netherfield Parks, which is the Mr. Bingley's residence, and lastly is the Pemberley, which is Mr. Darcy's grand estate. Now, the characters of the story are first is Elizabeth Bennet, who is the protagonist of the story, and she is a smart, independent, and an outspoken woman. And she is the second eldest of the Bennet sisters. So another important character is Mr. Fritz William Darcy, a wealthy gentleman who initially appears to be pride and arrogant. But as the story unfolds, his true character is revealed. Another character is Jane Bennet, who is the Elizabeth's older sister and who is known for her kindness and gentle nature. And also another notable character is Mr. and Mrs. Bennet, who is the parents or who are the parents of the Bennet sisters. And lastly, George Wickham, a charming but dishonest man. Now, the story centers on the Bennet family, who have five unmarried daughters and no inheritance due to strict inheritance laws. Now, because of this, Mrs. Bennet is desperate and eager to find a wealthy man or a wealthy husband that or a wealthy husband for her daughters to secure their future. And the story begins when a wealthy man, Mr. Charles Bingley, moves into the neighborhood. Now, when Mrs. Bennet knows it, she is thrilled knowing that or hoping that one of her daughters would marry him. Now, during the social gathering, Mr. Bingley instantly falls in love with Jane Bennet, the oldest sister. And during this is the time also where Elizabeth meets Mr. Darcy. But Mr. Darcy acts cold and arrogant. He even refuses to dance with Elizabeth because he thinks that she is not attractive enough. So Elizabeth started to dislike him. And this is where the main conflict of the story begins. When Elizabeth and Darcy forms a negative impression on each other. Now, as the story progresses, misunderstandings and false accusations influence Elizabeth's opinion of Darcy. She develops a prejudice against him because or she develops a prejudice against him because of her first impression on him and because she believes on the false accusations and stories that was told by George Wickham, which further strengthens her prejudice against him. Now, however, after a series of events and personal revelations, both characters discover that their first impression on each other were not completely accurate. Now, here Elizabeth sees the different side of Darcy and learns that she has misjudged him. At the same time, Darcy recognizes that his pride and arrogance make others misunderstood him. And then, so he realizes that his attitude or behavior needed to change. Now, through self reflection, recognizing mistakes, and personal growth, both characters, Elizabeth and Darcy, overcome their flaws. And eventually, their misunderstandings are resolved and they realize their true feelings for each other and then they got married. And also, Jane Bennet and Mr. Bingley finds happiness together, bringing the story to a satisfying conclusion. Now, let us proceed to the themes of the novel. So, first is, or one of the major theme of the novel is the danger of Pride and Prejudice, wherein it is shown in the story that people may make unfair judgments when they rely on when they rely on first impressions and incomplete information. Now, second is the social class. Now, the novel presents a society where wealth, social status, and family background strongly influence love and marriage. And lastly is marriage. Well, um, in the novel, the author shows a different kind of marriage, wherein some are based on mutual love and understanding, while also others are being influenced by financial security. Just like Elizabeth's friend who marries an awkward man not out of love but just for her financial security, or she just only married the man because she wants to be financially stable. So overall, Pride and Prejudice is not just a love story, but it is a novel that remains relevant because its themes can still be seen in today's society. There are still people who make or form unfair judgments based on first impressions and assumptions about others. And also, there are wealthy people who shows pride and arrogance and judges other people just because of their physical appearance. Now, through Elizabeth and Darcy, Jane Austen demonstrates how Pride and Prejudice can create misunderstandings but also can be overcome through self reflection and change. Now, ultimately, the novel teaches the importance of looking beyond first impressions, recognizing one's own mistakes, and understanding others with greater fairness and openness. So that's all, and thank you for watching.